Episode number 91 of the Wholesome Fertility Podcast. Welcome to the Wholesome Fertility Podcast. I'm Michelle, a fertility acupuncturist here to provide you with resources on how to create a wholesome approach to your fertility journey. My guest today is Tess Kossow. After having her baby boy Ferris, Tess decided to write her first children's book about her IVF journey so that children all over the world can understand how they and their siblings came into the world. Ferris was born from Tess's last embryo and the answered prayer of faith, love, and science through IVF. Reading holds a very special place in Tess's heart, and this next stage of her career has her creating something that is so very dear in the lives of IVF children through her picture books. So welcome to the podcast, Tess.
Thank you.
So can you share your story behind the inspiration to write I'm Very Ferris?
Sure. So I'm Very Ferris was originally inspired back when I was pregnant with my son and had gone through IVF with my husband. And as we were designing his nursery and his personal library and playroom, we were looking for something to explain at his level someday the process of how he came to be. Mm-hmm. And I wanted something that really spoke to a child through a child's perspective. And when I was looking on the market, I did not see anything that had that type of outlook in a children's book. So I was at a point in my life where I was able to make a career change, and I decided that this is a product the world needs. Mm-hmm. And people going through IVF and fertility would probably feel the same way, looking for a simple children's book that could put through the child speaking in very simple terms how they came into this world. And I put pen to paper and just went from there and created the I'm Very Ferris children's picture book series, doing just that, telling IVF through a little child's eyes in a way that children all the way from in the womb to probably about 7 years old would be able to understand and read and comprehend it.
And you did this when you were pregnant?
So I was pregnant and I didn't see anything out there that was really filling this niche. I really decided to go all into this after I had my son, just a few weeks.
Okay.
So again, I was looking and didn't see this type of product out there in any shape or form, again, through the child's perspective. And I'm a big fan of books and reading and sharing, through pages and pictures with someone. So right after he was born, just a few weeks old, I decided to leave my media position and start my own company and become an author.
And your son must love the fact that it's not only a book about his story, but also a book that was written by his mommy.
So I have been told that he is, especially as he's getting a little bit older, and he'll be 2 years old, that he does see a little bit of the importance of this book in him and hearing his name when I read it and whatnot, and other people read it. But truly, it's when I see other people and they share their stories and they come to me and explain to me how they take I'm Very Ferris, and watching my interaction with my son and what the inspiration was, and then taking it into their own lives, how it has affected them. That really is the magic behind the words and the pictures in the book for me.
And so just for the listeners who have never read it, can you talk about like how you share that story and how you implement basically that experience in the book?
Sure. So knowing again, I wanted to do a picture book, and I really wanted the words to be simple and attractive and would grasp a child's attention and yet bring families together through pictures as well. I was able to make a rhyming story. It's about 31 pages long, the first book in the series. And the illustrator that I have become almost family to, her and I have truly connected. And she was able to take my envisions of this character of Ferris and his family and his dog and his teddy bear and his life and really put it up into beautiful, big headed, big eyes, colorful pictures. And the words per every page are rhyming and they simply take in vitro fertilization, very simply put, in a safe and easy to maneuver manner for a child. Again, this is not supposed to be a book that goes into detail or something that will make you uncomfortable if this is something that is new to families and talking about it or the idea of talking about it. I wanted it to be something that people could relate to and feel at ease and feel proud of when explaining to their family, their child, their niece or nephew, a friend, that this is how families come to be and it's completely normal. And here's a book that can relate to you one on one as it talks through a child's eyes, not talking to a child, but rather a child talking about it so that another little one can understand, okay, this is how I came to be, or this is how my
Mm-hmm.
sibling be, or this is how my cousin is going to be here someday. And that they're not so scared or misunderstood when they see needles or medicine or lots of doctor's appointments or someone's body changing or having to go through different procedures. It kind of helps them just easily understand in this sometimes crazy world of this medical procedure that is completely normal and how a
Mm.
baby comes to be.
Because you know, you could look at it both ways. You can look at it obviously as similar to a book for your son, that this is showing the kids that are born through IVF how they came to be, but it's also showing them how their future siblings are coming to be. So yeah, that aspect of it is makes it a little more easy for them to understand if they see it through the lens of a child.
Right. I mean, I think that when, the day comes when someone approaches, a child approaches an adult, where do babies come from? I know when you take my life and my personal experience, the answers are different now. And the point
True.
I wanted to make is this is not something you should get embarrassed about or hide away from. This is one way that babies come. And I think even for families that have not gone through infertility that have read my book because they simply wanted a children's book for their child to read, which is a whole other aspect of an audience that I am really happy to attract. This is another answer for them because who knows if when this child gets older or if they run into a friend or someone at school that has again a mom or dad that's going through IVF, they now have a little bit more of an understanding and can maybe help comfort a child that is watching this happen through their family because they're that much more knowledgeable about it.
And you also talk about how you found strength through your journey. You mentioned that in the book. Can you share how you found your own strength?
Sure. I felt when I was going through IVF with my husband Dan, we kept it very private and we did not share with social media or whatnot what we were going through or what we weren't going through. Things, we had a miscarriage and we're very, very anxious about this last embryo that we had and what would happen if it did not be a successful transfer and a successful pregnancy. And so I really, now looking back and seeing where I am today, I wanted to change the way that a woman like me felt going through IVF and being nervous and scared and hiding it at work and hiding it with family and friends. And now take on the other side a way for me to help other people come forward and say, listen, it's okay to feel completely shredded sometimes, and it's okay to feel icky, and other times it's okay to be so excited over this tiny little moment that no one else would understand, but for you it's a huge victory.
Hmm.
Whether it's a blood test or it is a certain ultrasound or a certain number that you get, I mean, these are all so specific moments going through infertility and the IVF that I wanted to help other people come forward and be excited about or be able to share and not feel alone in this process. And my way is through advocacy now, through my social media and my website, and through the book, because there are people that purchase my book that are just starting the process, or are deep into a process of infertility treatment, that just have it out for that someday to read to their little one, because they know that some way, somehow they will have a child. And that's the inspiration that keeps me doing this now. Almost, it'll be 2 years that I've, been at this, coming up in June, that just keeps me driving to do another book and to do more advocacy and really expand my company and what I'm out there trying to do, and helping people be comfortable in talking about this with their families, and yet at the same time, giving little ones a new and exciting book to read.
Yeah, it is. It definitely addresses it, and I love the fact that you talked about the embryo. That's like you came to us, and it was a really cool perspective to see. So the core message, I mean, you've already addressed it, but I was going to ask you, what's your core message? Really, like the one message you want to share to everyone through your book.
I would want people to get this book and see truly that families are made in different ways. And
Yeah.
that, in the back of the cover of the first book, that's kind of the first tagline: families are made every day in many ways. Um, there are still people out there that don't want to talk about this, that don't think it's necessary. And I deal with it firsthand, unfortunately. And I feel that with this book, I am doing my part in this world and helping people understand that it's okay to need help, and it's okay to seek medical treatment when trying to have a child.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
when a family comes forward and says, no, this isn't working, we need help, whether it, and there are so many different ways that families are made. And I'm so honored when people come to me and say that they've purchased I'm Very Ferris, and they have changed some of the storyline to adapt to what their specific family needs. And whether that is surrogacy or IUI, or even secondary infertility, the fact that they can take this book and change it up a little bit to their own perspective and share with their families or their future families, um, how they've come together. That's what I want to do, because I don't want Ferris someday to be sitting in a health class and just have them talking about, well, how is a child made, and this is one way that a baby is made. That's completely untrue. There are
Hmm.
many children are brought into this world and our families are made, and I want him to have the backing and the knowledge and the respect and understanding to stand up and say, listen, there are other ways that babies are made, and I am
Hmm.
proof of that. And
Yeah.
this needs to be talked about.
And it's pretty cool to show just what you went through in order to have him. That is such a great message also for kids to see, that you wanted a child so badly, that you went through so much and had faith and got yourself through all of that just so you can have your child. It's the love, I always say the mother's love begins before conception.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, every story is different and unique, and it's, for me, I enjoy hearing people come forward if they want to share their stories. And on my social media, I often try to exemplify and share those stories with other people so they can connect in other ways. But for me, I mean, there were so many factors when going through this that change literally minute by minute, year by year, with the knowledge and the way that if you have insurance, if you have financial preparation for this, emotional preparation for this, if you have a faith in something, how you deal with this, family support or lack of support, spousal support, or if you are choosing to do this on your own. And again, dealing with little ones if you already have children and you are going through this again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just a lot of stuff coming at you, and the opportunity to really kind of sit down for me and think about all the things that I just went through in my own experience and say, you know what, I too had a miscarriage, or I too felt at one point this wasn't going to work and I would need to look into other avenues, or I was completely, I lost all faith and I didn't think this was going to happen, but then something changed or whatnot. And just that support, I call it, this unknown sisterhood I was unaware of that I was now a part of. And the more I talk about it, and again, I can't go back in time. And I know that for me, my family is complete with my son. And that is just how the cards have played for us. And I could not be more happy with the outcome. I
Yeah.
am very grateful for every day that I have with him. And I am grateful that, just the way that my life and situation played out is how it did. But at the same time, I understand that there are other people that are still trying to figure those cards out or whatnot. And to keep just a shoulder to lean on or an ear to listen is what I try to do. And if you can take my book into your home and grab it when you need it most, or when there's a moment where you want to read it again to your little one or share with family members the excitement of how you went through a process, well, those are all just really great moments as an author and as a mother that has been down a similar road that I just enjoy hearing and celebrating with people.
That's beautiful. I think that's great. And I love the fact that you actually really took to heart, the fact that it wasn't out there, it was something that was needed, and you actually took the initiative to create it.
Yeah, I am, and I always had an entrepreneurial bug, and I like to say that I just was for a very long time trying to figure out what is the bug trying to tell me. What is the product that I need to make that the world needs? And it was a lightning bolt moment, literally, where it hit me like, this is the product. I got to jump on this because if I don't, someone else will. And so I have a fantastic spousal support in my husband, and he's like, if anyone can do this, it's you. And so, literally, with at the time, my son was probably about 16 weeks old, and I just jumped into this and left a good career to kind of start the unknown. And here we are almost 2 years later, and the second book in the series is being prepared to be published. And I have had so many unique opportunities now coming to me about other ideas for the I'm Very Ferris series and avenues and routes it can go to connect with other families. And I'm just super excited for where the potential of being an author with a really great storyline can go in the future, and more families that can connect. And honestly, it's global, and I am so excited when I see people in Greece or in Italy or in Florida saying, I have your book. And it's like, oh my gosh, this woman from Chicago here started something, and you took the time or the money to put this in your home. And that just, I'm so grateful for it, for and everyone that takes that risk in bringing my product into their home and telling me about it. I'm very appreciative of their time and their choices, and it only just drives me to push harder and to continue to be a part of their lives and in future books that I plan on writing.
That's great. And is there any tip that you would like to share with some of the listeners who are currently considering or are on their IVF journey? Well, I know Unfortunately now in these times, a lot of IVF clinics have shut down, but people who are considering IVF.
I would tell them, um, I'm a realist, and I am someone that also believes that we make our own destinies. And here's the thing, life is going to throw curveballs at you all the time. And they're going to be in different forms, and they're going to be harder some than others. And I really, really believe that if you want something, you're going to get it. You need to just focus and think about it and not let other things get in your way. And I understand right now a lot of things are put on hold, but that's just what it means. They're put on hold. They're going to start up again, and things are going to go back into either a new normal or an opportunity to look at things differently. But the IVF treatments and fertility treatments that are out there, they are going to be available to you, that person out there right now that might be thinking, what's going to happen to me in the future? They're going to be there again. And you just need to stay the course and stay focused. And it's all about a positive state of mind. And even in the hardest of times, if we just keep our state of mind in the most positive way we possibly can, we're going to get through this. And you're going to have the sisterhood of people that are out there supporting you the whole time. No one's gone away. We're just taking a side road, but it's going to lead back to the path that's going to get you to your family one way or another. So stay the course, stay focused, keep your positive state of mind. Remember, anything put on hold, we'll go back to normal soon.
Those are very wise words. Thank you so much for sharing. And if people are looking to find your book, how could they find it?
So my book is sold on Amazon, and it is sold directly through my website of tesskossow.com for signed copies. I have been working tirelessly for many local bookstores and libraries around the country to carry it as well. So it might be in your local bookstore. If not, send the information to me. I'd love to get it there. And it's also on Barnes and Noble. So trying to get it every possible way as a small solo female entrepreneur, working mom here, trying to get it into your hands. But right now, the best way truly is through my website, Amazon, or Barnes and Noble.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and have all these links in my episode notes so that people can go ahead and find it. And I want to thank you so much for coming on today. It was really a pleasure having you. I love the whole idea. I love the fact that you are meeting children with this story and really putting so much heart into it from your own journey. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you to everybody for your time and listening. And please reach out to me. I like to say I'm a real person. This is my real name. It's not a pen name. I'm not a ghostwriter. I'm a real person out there. So feel free to drop me a message, and I promise I'll get back to you, and let's start connecting.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that concludes today's episode. You can find all of the links mentioned on the episode notes. If you're enjoying these episodes, please take a moment to share and leave a review. Reviews mean everything to podcasters, and I really enjoy hearing from my listeners. You can also find me on my website at www.thewholesomelotus.com or email me at info@thewholesomelotus.com. I love hearing from my listeners. If you're interested and want updates as well as a free ebook on my top 10 fertility boosting habits, you can visit my fertility page on www.thewholesomelotus.com. I thank you so much for listening in and hope that you have a beautiful day.